Violence is not the answer, Kyle. Violence is the question. Most likely is the answer. DarbyCast, Economics Wednesday, and DarbyCast Doctors, we've got a lot of material that we could get into. We always do. This world of ours is an inexhaustible supply of inspiration. Disregard that violence comment or don't. I, for one, have been wondering how long it's going to take before we start getting maybe a little. I'm surprised it hasn't happened already. I've thought that the wheels have been coming off the wagon and then have been off the wagon, and we're just grinding down a hill. Wagons made out of metal, sparks are flying everywhere, and forest fires are starting because of the sparks. Whew. Very upsetting imagery. I know, I get it. If you're new to the show, do your best to leave. Just don't listen. We're on a journey here, and you might not be ready for it. It takes a special kind of person, one who's not afraid to say, I know how to read, and I do it often. Or I can do more than 20 push-ups or 20 air squats. That's what it takes to be a DarbyCast doctor. That's like kind of the entrance exam, right? You got to have your test scores aligned. But what do I want to get into today on this Economics Wednesday as I talk about a spark sled cruising down a ill-kept asphalt road? You know what I want to talk about? I want to talk about environmental terrorism. And I want to talk about Free Willy. Because Free Willy definitely falls under that umbrella of environmental terrorism. You probably didn't really think about that as a kid. I did. I said, whoa, this is theft. This kid is ripping off this theme park. Everybody was like, woo, good job. And here's what I got to tell you. That business owner whose name in the movie Free Willy, I don't even know if he had a first name. It was just Dial, D-I-A-L, Dial, played by Michael Ironside. Great actor, by the way, Michael Ironside. In so many movies. Look him up. Kyle, can we make Michael Ironside's face the cover for this episode? We can do whatever we want? Good. Ironside it is. 1993, Free Willy hits theaters. It loses out to the movie Hocus Pocus in the box office, which was also, pretty good. Oh, Halloween movie. I believe Bette Midler was in that. No problems there. How's Bette Midler doing? Is she still around, Kyle? Didn't you disclose to me once in confidence that you thought Bette Midler, that you would have a shot with her if you could just give her a back rub? I love that attitude out of you, Kyle. Good job. But let's talk about Free Willy. This isn't about Hocus Pocus, and this certainly isn't about Kyle feeling up Bette Midler. Free Willy was a commercial success. Let's talk about the film before we talk about the thematic nonsense that was peppered into it. Also, can we just throw a bone out there to Michael Jackson for the amazing theme song, Will You Be There? I just got the chills thinking about that song. I haven't even listened to it in like 3 days. I listen to it pretty often, I'm going to be honest with you. But that's life, right? For those of you who haven't seen Free Willy this past year, first, shame on you. Second, I love the honesty. Third, I got your back. We're going to get into this. Let's get into the plot. You need to know what's going on. Otherwise, for this Economics Wednesday, we're not going to be able to pull any high-level, graduate-level economic theory out of it. And that's the name of the game in this crazy world where inflation is at least around 30% and seems to be teasing and hockey sticking into oblivion. Is that what inflation does to a currency, Kyle? Hockey sticks it into oblivion? Is that an appropriate thing to say? It is? Okay. There's a lot going on in this world of ours. But if we don't focus on the stuff that matters, and that is Free Willy, 1993, you just can't move forward unless you understand the past, right? 93 seems so far away. Makes me think of a Stain song. And now that we're here so far away. Right. So let's talk about the plot of Free Willy. Let's get into it. I'm not afraid. I know you aren't either. It starts out in the Pacific Northwest. And there's a pod of orcas. And they're just enjoying themselves in a way that is breathtaking. You look at a whale, you look at any whale, it doesn't even have to be an orca, and you just feel like you can really exhale. You hold in so much, and then you see a whale, and it's like, oh, boy, did I need to see you. Just to give me license to feel again. Listen, we've all been there. Pod of orcas swimming. Industry standard move for them. But the pod is tracked down by some whalers. Uh-oh. You immediately started judging these whalers. But let's think about the whalers from an economic standpoint. These guys, they just needed to make a little coin. Are they really bad dudes? I mean, obviously, yes. But maybe you show them a little compassion. You say, damn it, whaler, I want to enroll you in a community college course about basic arithmetic and other stuff. Maybe you just don't do this anymore. But the whalers, they capture what they think is the best looking whale of the pod with the intent to sell the whale to a sea park. And that's a bit of a plot twist that nobody was ready for in 93 or now. To hear that these whalers were actually maybe more business savvy than anybody had ever previously thought. Exhibit A, me, 30 seconds ago. Rather than selling whales to be consumed in Asia, because that's where that goes down, no sense in tiptoeing around that issue. They said, we can make more coin if we capture a cool whale, coolwhale.com, and sell it to a theme park. All of a sudden, community college is not looking like the correct route for these whalers. They already have a lot figured out. And what's the economic message there? If you're an entrepreneur, follow your dreams. People might not approve of your dreams as a whaler. What do they know? You're doing the most high ethics thing that you can as a whaler. You're not killing whales. It's pretty cool, actually. Whale gets captured. Now fast forward and change location. We're no longer in the water. We are in Portland, Oregon, which is probably just the worst city in all of the states now, after they turned it into a hub of terrorism, left-leaning terrorism, left-wing Marxist dirtbags. Oh, we know it went down. Jerry Nadler, senator, he wouldn't admit it, but we know that Portland was ruined by commies, wannabe commies. I don't think that Stalin was particularly fond of allies. Karl Marx in the Communist Manifesto, I don't think it was one of his quotes that said, the more nose piercings you have, the more communist-y a society is. The wackier your hairdo is, that's communism.com. Unism. Who knows? Maybe they did say that. I'm ignorant there. But Portland used to be great in 1993 before the commies, faux commies, showed up. Limp-wristed fellas named Davison. It's like, why don't you just go by Dave? And they don't have a good answer for that. They never will. But we know what's going down. Lesbian mothers. Lot of violence in that household. It's a scared kid. That's like the majority of the population in Portland now. Is the abused children of lesbian couples. My goodness. But Jesse, main character of the movie, troubled 12-year-old who was an orphan. Rough, right? You're living in Portland, you're an orphan. That's Jesse for you. So he's vandalizing this theme park that the whale got sold to. He's writing some graffiti. Sounds a lot like Portland these days. Was this just predictive programming? Did this set up the population of Portland to be a bunch of vandals? It could have. Whew. So he's doing vandalism. Jesse and his friend Perry. Perry escapes. Cops roll Jesse. Jesse gets arrested. He encounters the orca whale. And then fast forward to the next day, Jesse's social worker, Dwight, earns him a foster home and probation job, clean up the graffiti at the park. Jesse's in a new foster home. He doesn't like the foster parents. They don't get him. He doesn't want to be understood. Raw deal, right? Like you're an orphan. Mark my words, in like 5 years, people on the left will be asking if they can abort orphans that are like 10 years old. The answer to that is no. No, you can't. Don't sleep on orphans, okay? Who knows? Maybe they turn out to be some rock star environmental terrorist like this fella. Talk about economics 101, right? So Jesse's cleaning up the graffiti and he sees the whale again. And then he learns that the name of the whale is Willie. Willie the whale. Really lazy in the naming department out of the people who wrote this movie, if we're being honest. That's an economic lesson for you. Don't go for the layup when the 3-ball, that corner 3 is wide open. They went for the layup with the WW alliteration, Willie the whale. They didn't have to go alliteration. They could have gone with something powerful. Something with historical significance. Gandhi, the whale. Pinochet, the whale. Where was that? No artistic integrity out of the authors here. But let's continue. Willie is an uncooperative whale, and everybody's pissed at him, except for Jesse, who plays his harmonica for the whale and disarms the whale emotionally with a light tune. And that's so powerful economically. I bet you that just caught your attention in a big way when you just heard harmonica and you said, I tried playing a harmonica once and it wasn't really that much fun. So that was the end of that. Imagine had you continued with a harmonica, became the world's best, the Michael Jordan of harmonica. I'm going to be honest, you'd probably be homeless at this point. I don't know if there's a big market for harmonicists, harmonica assists. But the harmonica establishes a friendship with Jesse and Willie. Also, harmonica is his way to friendship with Willie's whale keeper, Randolph Johnson. A strong name. Jesse falls in the tank one night, and Willie, who, again, should have been named something cool like Pinochet saves Jesse. Pinochet saves Jesse. That's it. Face the music, harmonica music. Everybody sees that Jesse's vibing with Willie, including the owner of the park, Dial, played by Michael Ironside. So stern is his demeanor. He's serious, he means business, but that's how the rich stay rich, right? They run theme parks, and they're pissed all the time. Do you have that in you, economically, to be pissed all the time? Be like, make the deal, capture the whale, pay for it, pay those whalers. I know they didn't go to college, but they are good dudes. Do you have that in you? Dial does. Dial's eyes fill with dollar signs when he sees Jesse playing the harmonica and beatboxing with the whale. Dial wants to squeeze a couple bucks out of his investment, the orca. And he doesn't really have a choice because he's a businessman. And for all the entrepreneurs and business owners who listen to the DarbyCast, there's a lot of you. When he saw harmonica orphan beatboxing kid Jesse, he didn't have a choice. He's like, this is too sweet. So he arranges for a show to turn some profit. And day one of the show, there's a bunch of idiot kids and they're banging on the windows of the tank that Willie's in. Willie gets pissed, starts smashing his dome into the glass and puts a little hole in it, starts leaking water. Dial, businessman, he says, well, we could let the whale stay in there, let the water drain. Tank's busted, whale's dead. I can collect an insurance policy of $1 million on this. Jesse overhears this and nearly drops a beat. Jesse's life was music and whales. And so that news, I'm hearing about the business tycoon, played by Michael Ironside, treating his whale wrong and screwing up his musical opportunities, his harmonica whale concert gig. He was upset, and he had every right to be. Parallels exist to this situation everywhere. So let me name another one. So imagine this really high-powered record label executive who's representing Simon and Garfunkel. And in this example, Garfunkel would be the whale. If Garfunkel was about to die, and this exec said, I'm going to cash in on my Garfunkel insurance policy, what do you think Paul Simon would have done? He would have lost it. Fast forward a little bit. Jesse, the keeper, Randolph, they come up with a plan. They're like, we got to get Willie out of here. This whole situation is not okay. Now they're getting into the territory of stealing a whale. But it's like a Robin Hood kind of deal because they're not going to sell it on the black market. That opportunity exists, but a high-integrity harmonica player like Jesse, although he has those connections to sell Willie, also known as Pinochet, on the black market, he doesn't. That speaks to his harmonica vibe. I don't have that. I'd be tempted. I'd be tempted to break a whale out of a theme park and just sell him. Kyle, you would do that too? I love your honesty. But he's doing it for the love of the game, environmental terrorism. He wants to do damage to this theme park and or free the whale. I don't think they talk as much about the environmental terrorism aspect, which is a noble cause in some instances. Jesse and Randolph, good guys. Would they be bought in on this whole carbon emissions, increase your taxes stuff? I don't think so. But they would say we're against pollution and we will free whales and put on a concert. Jesse and Randolph use a guy named Glenn's truck to tow Willie to a marina. A guy named Wade calls Dial. He dials Dial, okay, to inform him that Willie is missing. Some stuff happens, a little bit of a chase scene. Nobody cares. They make it to the water. Glenn, bless his heart. I don't know a lot about Glenn. I don't. But you know he's a good dude. Because he smashed his truck through a gate, towing a whale, and then did some reverse action and plopped the whale in the water. And if that doesn't earn you a couple gold stars on your permanent record, I don't know what does. Glenn is an environmental terrorist that we should all look up to. That's inspiring, right? Just smash a gate, throw it in reverse, see what happens. Willie is half dead in the water. And then that fellow Wade and Kyle, am I reading this right? Wade and the Confederates attempt to stop them? Wait, so the theme park employed like Klansmen? What was really going on? There is layers to this. Like all businesses. Boom. DarbyCast, Economics Wednesday, right? Jesse encourages Willie, a.k.a. Pinochet, to swim. And Willie slips away from the battle. And he's about to make his way into the ocean, the big blue. Before he can make it, though, two of Dial's whaling ships suddenly appear. Those entrepreneurs, those sons of bitches. And they seal off the marina with their nets. Jesse runs towards the breakwater, calling for Willie to follow him. He says, come on, man. Pulls out the harmonica, drops a beat, and Willie follows him. No surprises there. Tasty beats. That's what whales like. Jesse tells Willie about what's got to go down, which is a big jump, the biggest jump ever. And Willie nails it, and he's free, and he spends time with his family, and then the kid cries like a bitch, and it's like, come on, man, you're on your way to musical success. You can't just break down like this. You can't. That's an economic lesson. You can't be afraid of success, right? Because this is what success looks like. You steal a whale, and then you have the high ethics to not sell the whale, which is boneheaded from a business standpoint, but from a heart standpoint, that's worth more than gold. Now, I'm no legal scholar, but you'd have to think that with the right attorney, you could strong arm that insurance company into paying up that $1 million claim and being like, the whale was stolen. The cage is damaged. The whale was stolen. Pay up. Or do you think that the clever people at the insurance company wrote in a no environmental terrorism payout clause, no whale theft clause, because it would be too easy to stage that? Maybe a different sea park had tried to pull that revolving door for years and the insurance company got hip to it. There was just a theme park that was capturing whales, getting their insurance policy, making sure to cover whale theft, then releasing the whales, cashing in, and then just rinse and repeat. the insurance company had probably had enough of that. And so in the end, perhaps, that Dial, played by Michael Ironside, great actor, maybe he didn't get paid. Wow, right? Business is a gamble. It can be. It certainly can be. Especially when you've got low ethics people in your industry ruining things for everybody. I, for one, think if somebody stole a whale from me, I'd want to be compensated. That's just not right. As a kid, I was cheering for the environmental terrorist himself, Jesse. But as an adult, I'm like, Dial got robbed. It's amazing watching movies as an adult that you watched as a child and say, I want the economic messages. That's the lens I'm looking through when I look at these movies. Say, all right, doctorate level economics. And that's what you have here, right? Is a sweeping, high-level economic overview of what was really going down. That fateful, 2 weeks or whatever that the movie took place in. But that's going to wrap it up for DarbyCast Economics Wednesday. Some of you right now are saying to yourselves, I want more economic messages. And to that I say, find them yourself. That's what a student of the game does. A student of the game of environmental terrorism, insurance, running a theme park. If you had all those skills, you'd be a force with which to be reckoned. And I'd love to know how to run a theme park ethically, obviously. Hire on a couple orphan kids that could beatbox, play the harmonica. Maybe one that could scat. With talent like that on your staff, you would be making an uncomfortable amount of money. That's DarbyCast Economics Wednesday.